In this video, we'll be looking at what is PESA Act. So PESA Act been in the current affairs for some time. So we need to look into what exactly is PESA Act. So the Panchayats Extension to Scheduled Areas Act of 1996 or PESA Act is a law enacted uh, by the government of India for ensuring self-governance through traditional gram sabhas for people living in scheduled areas of India. It was enacted by the Parliament in 1996 and came into force on 24th December 1996. Okay, the PESA Act is considered to be the backbone of tribal legislation in India, and the PESA recognizes the traditional system of decision making process and stands for the people's self governance. Okay, and now we will go into the background which involved in the formation of the PESA Act. Okay, PESA Act is it was aimed at promoting self governance in rural India. The 73rd constitutional amendment was made in 1982. Through this amendment, a three-tier Panchayati Raj system or institution was made into a law. However, this application to the scheduled and tribal areas was restricted. So, three-tier Panchayati system was there, which was made into a law in by the 73rd Amendment Act in 1992. But there was a limitation for this system in the tribal areas. Okay, so after Buraya Committee recommendations in 1995, Panchayat Extension, so or the PESA Act came into existence for ensuring tribal. So in the tribal areas, self-rule should be given. To promote that, PESA Act was introduced. The PESA conferred the absolute power of Gram Sabha, and whereas the state legislatures has given a so absolute power was given to the Gram Sabha in the case of PESA Act, while the state legislatures were given advisory role so that the panchayats and the Gram Sabhas were functioning properly. So power delegated to the Gram Sabha cannot be curtailed. So it cannot be curtailed by a higher level, and there shall be independence throughout. So, by the 73rd Amendment Act, a three-tier Panchayati Raj institution was formed, and it was restricted to what? It was restricted to the tribal areas and the scheduled areas. So, after Buraya Committee recommendations, PESA Act came into being. So, which provided a Gram Sabha or tribal self-rule system, in which the state government had an advisory role, and the power of the Gram Sabha cannot be taken away by any high level of governance. So that was the background. So what are the functions and powers given to the to this Gram Sabhas? First one is the right to mandatory consultation on land acquisitions, and resettlement and rehabilitation of displaced persons. Then second is protection of tribal belief, the culture of the tribal communities. The third is ownership of minor forest products. Fourth is resolution of the local disputes, prevention of land alienation, management of village markets, right to control production, distillation, and prohibition of liquor. So the liquor is under the control of the Gram Sabhas in those areas. The exercise of control over money lending and any other rights involving scheduled tribes. So what are the issues and why is the PESA Act constantly in the news? So you look into the issue. The state governments are supposed to enact state laws for their scheduled areas, and in consequence with this national law, this was resulted in a partially. So there is a clash between the national law and the state law. So national law said that state has restrictions in making the implementation of state law in the scheduled and tribal areas. So there is a clash between national and state laws. The partial implementation, there is a partial implementation of self governance. So there is other power given to the state and other power given to the Gram Sabha. So the power sharing is not proper, especially in Adivasi areas like in Jharkhand. Many experts have asserted that PESA did not deliver due. So the PESA Act, there is no clarity on what laws are there, and there is no legal infirmity, bureaucratic apathy, absence of political will. So the state government, see, the tribal areas are the areas which are rich in resources. So basically, the state government, they won't allow the minings and all. It should give revenue to the state government. Am I right? So what happened? There will be clashes between the state governments and the tribal areas. So and the PESA Act, which empowers the tribal areas or the tribal people, comes in a comes as a hurdle for the state government. So as per social audits conducted across the state, in reality, different development schemes were being approved on paper by Gram Sabha without actually having any meeting or discussion or decision making. So, Gram Sabha actually, while focusing on the collective good of the people, it became restricted to certain number of people. So, I hope different aspects about the PESA Act was clear for you guys. So, until next time we meet again, God bless you all. Jai Hind.